So I guess it's right up there in the title. What is it like to get diagnosed with HPD? How do you explain finding out? You don't just have some quirks. And you've had real trauma, and and you've had some issues. You've excused them because your self-destructive tendencies, and just excused everything, and to finding out that you are actually certifiably insane. It's a fundamental problem of who you are, and so many of your problems are explained by this. It's a mind fuck. I was going through a really hard time with my fiance. What we now know was causing it. Because he's bipolar, so he withdraws with emotions. All of my opinion of myself, it comes from feeling love from other people around me. I need other people to feel love, to feel good, and when that's denied, it's so low. And what you find out is you've been living life on like such a high, because everything has been high drama in your head. Your feelings are so much huger than other people's, and you don't see it. You can't see it at all, because that's just how you've always viewed the world. And I was so anyway, I was having a mental breakdown. I had a cancer scare earlier this year, and that was fine. But then I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes straight after, and that's taken a lot of control away. And like, I didn't feel like I was getting the help I needed, and I was going crazy, and he was withdrawing, and I was pushing, because you don't have normal reactions to rejection, and it's not something you yourself can see, and until you're diagnosed. You don't. It's just how you've always seen the world. If your boyfriend isn't in the mood, it feels like he's not attracted to you. There's something wrong with you. You're not getting that attention that you should get, that you're not good enough. And it's the worst feeling in the world, and it's so intense. And then you find out, hey, you've got a condition, and it's one where you're completely reliant on other people, where you go to any length you can to get them to be there for you. Your empathy completely turns off, and you're really low, and you're desperate, because you go to the point you're actively suicidal at times. And when you need someone, you need them right now. And whatever they're going through, the balmy with the husband, the kids, you should be able to understand that they can't be there for you, and you can understand that later on. But in the moment, it's just it feels like, why, what am I doing wrong? Why don't you love me? Why aren't you helping me? And you know, so I had this, I had my mental breakdown, and it just built up and built up. I started losing time. I was doing irrational things. I would take pillows off of the cushions, the covers of the pillows off of the cushions probably makes more sense. Uh, but I have no memory of doing it. I was putting the hairbrush in the fridge, my fiance's razor in the medicine cabinet where it doesn't go, and just feeling in tears all the time, like on the verge of tears all the time. Like everything was just overwhelming, and it was getting worse and worse, and it built up, coming to head. Ended up at crisis point, the weekend of the 4th year anniversary of my 3-year-old son's death to terminal brain cancer. And I phoned the doctor because this is the first year I don't want to die, and I was trying to avoid my self-destructive tendencies, and they put, I'd already been on Zoloft for a few weeks. This is now the 6th. They put me on benzos, and for the first time ever, my mind thinks more like a normal person's than it ever has, and that is terrifying and overwhelming, and it accentuates everything. You can see everything from the perspective of having your disorder now. You know, it's hard to explain when you don't even like know what's going on yourself. But you end up thinking like, okay, so I can be aware of what I'm doing, but I have these desperate needs for people. Everything's dramatized, and I've been living life like my highs have been so high. Like when it's good, it's amazing, it's the best thing in the world. When it's bad, it's horrific, it's horrendous, it's excruciating. It's really not the fun disorder to have that it's portrayed as. You know, with the Harlequin comparison, which yes, I do find flattering, because that's apparently due to narcissistic tendencies that I've never been aware of. Not the best thing to find out about yourself. Not the best reputation, but still a reputation which apparently just plays right into my disordered brain, because my disordered brain sees itself as the star of the show and has to live life constantly on the highest level, or I'm spiraling down. I am getting help. They're switching me from benzos to beta blockers. I got the benzos because I called the doctor at crisis point. Had multiple suicide attempts in the past. I just put them down to grief, to normal grief from losing your child in such a brutal way, and refuse to get help for the PTSD of losing him, the depression, the self-destructive tendencies, the anorexia, the self-harm, And, you know, it always just explained it as like, I have lived a tragedy. Like, that's why I'm different. And it's not. Because my mind is formed different in a way that's not sane. It gives you crazy label. It's not like just having a mental illness you know about, like the anorexia that you can excuse. But even, you know, finding out its diagnosis, because my brain functions so well on it, I'm able to identify things. And, you know, it was all just building to crescendo with, to break down things getting worse and worse. Was having audio and visual hallucinations. They just seemed real, even my memories of them and the strong emotional reactions I had to them. I was sat in a room with my fiance and, you know, his brother and sister and one of their friends, and I heard him insult me. Like, I was really upset about it for days. I had such a go at him. He asked them what was said. They all remembered a different thing was said. They all said the exact same thing, and it wasn't offensive at all. I've had kind of audio, to my knowledge, auditory hallucinations before, but known they're not real, and, you know, just put it down to other things, like maybe I had a bit too much caffeine, or, you know, times I've been drunk, high. But it's not that. It's apparently Histrionic Personality Disorder, and there does not seem to be a shitload of information on it, and most is quite negative. And, you know, but I don't feel bad about it. And right now, I'm still in meds and going through getting this diagnosis and starting help and treatment, even though it's not curable, and I'm certifiably crazy. Hooray! It's quite different to just being eccentric and charismatic and a bit nuts, you know. You kind of put them off on yourself as adorable quirks because they're constantly positively reinforced, because what you've been doing is picking up on other people's emotions, responding to them, responding to atmospheres. When I walk into a pub, I feel drunk and excited right away. I flirt with people in front of my boyfriend. I don't even realize I'm doing it. There was a whole thing with, like, his sister. Like, I'd been a bitch one night because I was low and I'd taken an insult to her, and he'd been showing me attention. I had not been aware that I was flirting, but I had apparently done that. And I seen her as the bad guy, because all my fiance had told me was, like, I'd been on one of my fat rants. Because apparently, you know, it's on a subconscious level, it's me trying to build myself up, which I kind of excused as, you know, anorexia, like, people are really fucking mean to you when you're at low weights. But I do also feed off that attention, which is actually not normal for anorexics. Yeah, because with this, unlike with narcissism, you do have feelings, you do have empathy, you do have love for other people, you need other people to have love for you, and you know, you realize so much, and why it's still all over the place. But there's not much information about this online, and I'm me and my fiance. We're both me with this and him with his bipolar. We're going through a period of love and healing, and this is something that I have needed help for a long time, for a really long time. Ever since I can remember, every problem I've had, and I need to embrace the help, and maybe I can help others, because I have done that before. I did blog while my son was dying, for other terminal cancer mums, and I'd done posts on like self-harm, suicide, because I overshare. I completely overshare. People that I meet, I feel like they are my best friends, which apparently this is a symptom of a disorder. I don't have boundaries that normal people do. I'm always like high energy. I'm always having fun. That's probably where self-destructive tendencies come from, because you don't have that fear, you don't have guilt, you want to have fun, and because you have this personality that will draw people to you, because on a subconscious level you've apparently been emotionally manipulating them to do that for your own need, for love, for warmth, for your feelings to come from others, to be like the lead actress and the director of your life. Like, I thrive better in chaos than in calm. Yet everything I do art. I love nature, and I can see it in ways other people can't. A rainbow on a river can be the most beautiful thing in the world when when you're in a good mood. Everything is more heightened. Obviously, you've got all the sex stuff with the disorder. Impressive. I will give them that one. But yeah, even in that, it's something that's been so much more intense than you. And I justified it growing up in the 90s, with a single feminist mom, and the era of Sex and the City and Kim Cattrall and female sexual liberation. Just justified it as a feminist standpoint. I've never felt guilty for anyone I've slept with. I've seen it as like a healthy adult exchange, like of passion. I have led people on. I have been upset and hurt when they develop feelings for me, especially friends, male friends, and female friends, which apparently is also a thing of the disorder. Like, it seems most of us are bisexual. Maybe that's the thing. Even ridiculous, like, orgy fantasy type stuff, like multiple people in the night, somebody's girlfriend's pissed you off, so you'll go see them and come back to the club. Like, even when you were behaving so wildly, you justified it. And I was an alternative kid. I just thought, oh, a bit of a troubled kid, probably just going through an acting out stage. I'm small, I'm pretty, I'm charismatic. I get away with it. And it's always been positively reinforced, because when you go out, everyone wants to buy the pretty fun girl drinks. Everyone wants the party girl. I can't remember what show it is. No, it was House. I think it was House. That he said something like, everyone wants a pretty girl until she's like puking on your shoes at 3 a.m. It was always a high. It wasn't you got told off for this behavior. You got it reinforced, and as a bullied kid, that helped. When I was getting homophobically bullied out at high school in an age where bisexuality just wasn't a thing, and I was more attracted to women, so I thought, okay, well, I must be gay. and I'd fallen in love with a really beautiful and Danish girl. She wasn't, she didn't in the end go that way. Did lead me on, play along for a little while. I think mostly to turn a boyfriend on, does a number on you, as it would. I know, got bullied really badly because I'd moved schools a lot. So at some point I started not forming friendships and being withdrawn, but I got attention because of the way I looked and being the new girl, and awkward and oversharing and not having boundaries and instantly thinking people are your best friends, and you tell them everything, because you want to tell them everything. You're like ingraining yourself on them because you want them to care about you, because then that means you can care about you. If that makes any kind of sense to a sane person who not sure the interest in it, maybe psychological. Don't analyze me too hardly. Hardly is not harshly. Harshly is the word. Sedative is quite strong. You may or may not be able to tell, and I am quite hyper at the moment because I am in a very positive place right now, because I have an answer for what's wrong in my life, and actually the fact that it is histrionic personality disorder kind of helps, because I'm getting a lot of love and attention from my friends, my fiance. That's going good, so I'm in a really good place, and I'm finally getting help, and lots of people talking to me and helping me, and that feels really good. So I feel really loved, so I'm quite hyper today, which apparently is not just a personality quirk. Very adorable personality quirk, I might have said, but no, it's the psychotic symptom, which is not so fun to know. But no, you know, I developed anorexia. The horrible attention was horrible, but everyone knowing my name, I went through a stage of compulsive lying when the bullying was really bad to get more attention. I was sleeping around to get attention. I walked into a fucking school assembly in a miniskirt, thigh-high boots, and an FBI "fuck boys immediately" t-shirt just to get a reaction. I was always very theatrical, even though I was bullied. The huge eccentric side never struck me as odd. It was just what I was, who I am. That was an oversight. Big oversight. So yeah. Mental. It feels really fucking mental, and because there doesn't seem to be any real resources out there, and I have used my writing in the past to help others. Maybe this will help someone else. Obviously this is just the start of my journey, and I know I have kind of lost my mind a bit with the mental breakdown and the diagnosis and that, and I've never done like a video before. You know, I like how I look on camera. That's personality disorder thing. That's because you're focusing on that too, and knowing you're doing it now because the benzos. It's weird. And I guess a huge question in the coming months, the coming years. Do I find out who I really am, or is who I really am just would I have been someone else? How did this form? How did I excuse it and not see it for so many years? The high intensity never picked up on like other people's lives not being like that because you're so focused on your own life. And the people who you love in that life, but in that it's like in relation to you. Like you hate the bad boyfriends, you want to give them good advice, you want them to be happy, but in the ways that you need them to such an extent that you can't be happy without it, and it puts you on top of the world. I'm kind of hoping that the high doesn't go. I'm really hoping that high doesn't go, because it's very good, very good, and that's my life when I'm feeling happy. It's me on a good day with a crazy diagnosis and going through a million questions in my head, and the crazy, the actually certifiably crazy response that I've had, that, you know, I'm looking up and studying like how crazy I am, and like all my friends are being so supportive and loving. I'm enjoying the attention, and it's weird, and you know it's a sign that you're completely nuts, apparently. But as I am lovable, I am a good person. We're not succubuses. Well, I mean, sometimes. But no, we are capable of great love. We have great love for the most important people in our lives. And I think there's a lot of shame attached to this disorder. But I'm hoping that changes, and I've rambled on for quite a while and got into lots of tizzies and tangents, and hopefully I will get better at that. But I suppose this is the start of my journey, and I guess if you're looking this up, the start of yours, and hopefully we get through this together. Didn't have it in the video, so dramatic flair. Thank you for listening and giving me that attention that I pathologically need, I guess. It was a joke. Maybe. Thanks for listening.